Hello there, sports fans. This is Bryce, and welcome to another football edition of Sports Dreamer Podcast. Before we begin our starts and sits for week 5, let me ask you, how did you guys do during week 4 with all the coronavirus outbreak and all the postponements? Did you guys survive? Hopefully you did, and I hope that my starts and sits helped you. With that said, let's move to our hits and misses for week 4. For our hits in the running back position, we got the names of Kareem Hunt, who scored 2 touchdowns after the injury of Nick Chubb, Latavius Murray, and finally, Joe Mixon showed up. For our misses in the running back position, we got Miles Sanders, the disappearance of Kenyon Drake and Jonathan Taylor, and the headache of the Rams backfield, Darrell Henderson Jr. For our hits for the wide receiver position, we got DK Metcalf, the big showing of OBJ, and we also have Cooper Cup. For our misses in the wide receiver position, we got the zero catch night of Calvin Ridley and some bigness from Tre'Quan Smith and CeeDee Lamb. Now let's go to our week 5 starts and sets. And for our Thursday night football, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Chicago Bears. For the Bucks, we'll start running back Ronald Jones Jr. and wide receiver Mike Evans. And for your sits, we'll sit running back Leonard Fournette, who is currently nursing an ankle injury and might not even play. And at the time of this recording, wide receiver Chris Godwin is out for this game. For your Bears, we'll start running back David Montgomery and wide receiver Allen Robinson. For your sits, it'll be wide receiver Anthony Miller, as he wasn't able to do much with his 5 targets last game. And we still want to see how quarterback Nick Foles distributes the ball. Now let's go to our Sunday games. First on our list is the Carolina Panthers versus the Atlanta Falcons. For the Panthers, we'll start running back Mike Davis and wide receivers DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. The Falcons' secondary is decimated with injury, so DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson are good plays here. For the Falcons, we'll start running back Todd Gurley and wide receiver Calvin Ridley. For your sits, we'll sit wide receivers Julio Jones and Russell Gage. Julio is still dealing with a hamstring injury, and even if he plays, he'll most likely be just a decoy. Next, it's Cincinnati Bengals versus Baltimore Ravens. For the Bengals, we'll start running back Joe Mixon and wide receiver Tyler Boyd, and we'll sit wide receivers AJ Green and T. Higgins. For the Ravens, we'll only start running back Mark Ingram, and we'll sit running back J.K. Dobbins and wide receiver Marquise Brown. The Ravens might be leading the whole game, so they might not even have to throw the ball that much. Next game is the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Houston Texans. For the Jags, we'll start running back James Robinson and wide receiver DJ Chark, and we'll sit running back Chris Thompson and wide receiver Keelan Cole. For the Texans, we'll start running back David Johnson and wide receiver Will Fuller, and we'll sit wide receivers Brandon Cooks and Randall Cobb. We just want to see how the new head coach of the Texans run plays. Next on our list, it's the Las Vegas Raiders versus Kansas City Chiefs. For the Raiders, we'll only start running back Josh Jacobs and we'll sit wide receiver Hunter Renfrow. For the Chiefs, we'll start running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire and wide receiver Tyreek Hill. And for your sits, it'll be wide receivers Sammy Watkins and Mecole Hardman. It's just Patrick Mahomes have so many options in the passing game. Next game is the Arizona Cardinals versus New York Jets. For the Cards, we'll keep rolling with running back Kenyon Drake, but we'll also start running back Chase Edmonds and also put wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. And for your sit, we'll sit wide receiver Christian Kirk. For the Jets, we'll start wide receiver Jamison Crowder, but we'll sit running backs Lev Bell and Frank Gore. Bell is just coming off IR due to a hamstring injury, so I don't suggest to start him this game. Next game is the Pennsylvania battle between Philadelphia Eagles and Pittsburgh Steelers. For the Eagles, I'm not comfortable starting anyone versus Pittsburgh, including running back Miles Sanders. For the Steelers, we'll start running back James Conner and wide receivers Juju Smith-Schuster and Deontay Johnson. And we'll sit running back Benny Snell and wide receiver Chase Claypool. We could see the Steelers defense hold the Eagles offense. Next game is the Buffalo Bills versus Tennessee Titans. For the Bills, we'll start running back Devin Singletary and wide receiver Stephon Diggs, but we'll sit wide receiver John Brown. For the Titans, we'll only start running back Derrick Henry, and we'll sit wide receivers AJ Brown and Corey Davis. Just a heads up, this game might be in danger of being postponed. This is because two more Titans players tested positive for coronavirus. So plan your waiver wire pickup well and be ready to pivot right away. Next game is the LA Rams versus Washington football team. For the Rams, we'll start wide receivers Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, and we'll sit running back Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown. We really can't tell how the Rams utilizes the running backs. For Washington, we'll start running back Antonio Gibson and wide receiver Terry McLaurin, and we'll sit running back Peyton Barber. And there's a quarterback chase here as Kyle Allen replaces Dwayne Haskins. Next game is the Miami Dolphins versus San Francisco 49ers. For the Dolphins, we'll start running back Myles Gaskin and wide receiver Devante Parker, but we'll sit wide receiver Preston Williams. For the Niners, we'll start running back Jerick McKinnon and wide receiver Brandon Ayuk, but we'll sit running back Jeff Wilson and wide receiver Deebo Samuel. With tight end George Kittle in the fold, we just want to see how the Niners distributes the ball. Next game is the Denver Broncos versus New England Patriots. For the Broncos, we'll start running back Melvin Gordon and wide receiver Jerry Jeudy, but we'll sit running back Royce Freeman. For the Pats, we'll start running back James White and wide receiver Nickel Harry, but we'll sit running back Rex Burkhead and wide receiver Julian Edelman. We're not sure if Cam Newton will be cleared to play this week, so we'll put a hold on Edelman. Next game is the Indianapolis Colts versus Cleveland Browns. For the Colts, we'll start running back Jonathan Taylor, but we'll sit running back Naheem Hines and wide receiver T.Y. Hilton. Those two players haven't shown up in the last two games. For the Browns, we'll start running back Kareem Hunt, who skyrockets to RB1 platform, and wide receiver OBJ. And we'll sit running back Ernest Johnson and wide receiver Jarvis Landry. Aside from that touchdown pass he threw to OBJ, Jarvis Landry hasn't shown up for the past 4 games. For a game of the week is the division match between New York Giants and Dallas Cowboys. For the Giants, we'll start running back Devontae Freeman, but we'll sit running back Dio Lewis and wide receiver Golden Tate. For the Cowboys, we'll start running back Ezekiel Elliott and wide receivers Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CD Lamb. Cowboys defense can't hold any offense down, so Dak Prescott might have to throw the whole 4 quarters. Next game is the Minnesota Vikings versus Seattle Seahawks. For the Vikings, we'll start running back Dalvin Cook and wide receivers Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, but we'll continue to sit running back Alexander Mattison. For the Seahawks, we'll start running back Chris Carson and wide receivers Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. And we'll sit running back Carlos Hyde, who did not play last game due to a shoulder injury. But monitor Chris Carson's availability for this game as he is also dealing with a knee sprain. And for your Monday Night Football game, it's the LA Chargers versus New Orleans Saints. For the Chargers, we'll only start wide receiver Keenan Allen, and we'll sit running back Joshua Kelly and Justin Jackson. And with Austin Eckler gone for 4 to 6 weeks, we just want to see how they split the carries between the two running backs here. For the Saints, we'll start running backs Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray, and if he's available to play, we'll start wide receiver Michael Thomas. And if Michael Thomas plays, we'll just sit wide receivers Emmanuel Sanders and Traquan Smith. So there you have it, our starts and sits for week 5. Thank you so much for watching. Stay healthy, stay safe. Please don't forget to hit the like button and hit subscribe. We'll see you next time.